this on TV. I could not believe they were still here. So I waded through the water, and somebody gave me a ride on the boat down here. It just broke my heart.
Well, if the effects from Harvey were the acts of a person, you could justly call them cruel and evil. Look at the flooding today inside a Port Arthur, Texas nursing home, packed with elderly and frail patients.
And this awful discovery today, deputies finding the bodies of a family washed away and killed by floodwaters in Houston. Good evening. Water continues to rise in Houston's Buffalo Bayou tonight because of water coming from one of its reservoirs.
Searches continue on the ground and from the air as the city's assistant fire chief says block by block, neighborhood searches will make sure that, quote, no people are left behind.
Search and rescue!
The patrols go on seemingly nonstop. First responders trained for this kind of work and civilians answering the call in this monumental time of need. A lifeline literally thrown to this man clinging to a tree for 5 hours.
We were screaming and hollering at him, and we had really thought we lost him, but he hollered out he'd grabbed some vines on a tree, so we just drove the boat as fast as we could up into the trees.
They saved him. He was later reunited with his son. In Orange, Texas, this church is just about the only option left for those needing shelter. 2 other shelters in the city have been flooded. It's overcrowded, about 400 people inside, but it's dry.
Oh, I'm just happy I have my family here, and as long as we smile, we'll be okay. God got us.
This man used his personal boat to help residents from an assisted living facility, an emotional ordeal for the elderly and for those who helped save them.
My heart I just got to hold it together so I can help these people.
But for too many, there was no help to be had. That was the case for the Saldivar family in Houston, whose van was swept away as they tried to escape the rising waters. The sheriff confirming the news that 6 of them had died, 4 children, ages 6 to 16, and their great-grandparents. A devastating development. While the threat of heavy rain for Houston has ended, Harvey is still making its presence felt. In all, the National Guard and the Coast Guard have rescued nearly 13,000 people. Nearly 300,000 homes and businesses have no electricity. Harvey has also driven about 32,000 Texans into shelters. It's also led thousands to volunteer.
It's beautiful. It's just showing the unity. It's showing that we all have something in common. We all care about each other, regardless of the skin we're in or our beliefs or whatever issues we may have. What really matters is life.
And heroes are everywhere you look right now in Texas, like these 4 young men from the United States Navy. They let a CBS News crew join them today as they flew around rescuing people. And for private citizens who don't have the power of the military behind them, a good old-fashioned human chain made up of brave and loving strangers is turning out to be a huge tool in the rescue efforts. And look at this scene in Houston. An elderly man was trapped in his truck, so folks nearby who saw him in trouble linked hands and slowly got to him and got him on dry land. And in this scene, neighbors formed a human chain to get a woman who had gone into labor out of her home and onto a truck to take her away to get medical attention. Thousands of people who have been saved have ended up at Houston's Convention Center, which is now a shelter.